Welcome to the Child Care Director's Chair, the podcast for bold educators who are ready to lead, grow, and shake things up in early childhood education. Whether you are a teacher eyeing that lead role, a lead stepping into leadership, or a center owner dreaming big, this is your space to grow with purpose and leave your mark. Hosted by heart-centered leadership coach Erica Sakosio, each episode brings you real talk, actionable tools, and a contagious laugh or two, all designed to help you step into your next level with confidence. So pour your coffee, pop in those earbuds, and take your seat, because your leadership journey starts right now in the Child Care Director's Chair.
Hey guys, welcome to the Child Care Director's Chair podcast. I'm your host, Erica Sakosio, and today we are going to talk about something that many of you might be thinking about with the new year coming right around the corner. You know, as directors, we often reflect and we may be asking ourselves, how can we get our new team members off to a great start? Well, today's episode was inspired by a listener from Colby, Kansas, who asked a question that I think many of you might be thinking as well. And that's, how do we create effective onboarding and training manuals for our programs? Let's be honest, handing someone a binder and wishing them luck is not onboarding. If we want confident teachers, consistent classrooms, and strong retention, well, we need an onboarding system that meets people where they are at and also set clear expectations from day one. So today, I am breaking down 10 practical tips to get your onboarding manuals actually done this year, with a focus on programs that are serving infants, toddlers, and preschool, and using multiple learning methods so your team can see it, they can hear it, they can do it, so then they can live it. So, before we even get into the tips, let's get one thing clear. Onboarding manuals are not about control. They are about clarity. Strong training manuals reduce anxiety for new hires, it protects program quality, and it supports compliance, and it ensures children receive consistent care no matter who is in the room. And manuals also protect you as a leader because expectations are no longer living in your head. You know, in your head, the little voices that you keep saying, why can't they just do it right? Well, if you want less confusion, fewer repeated corrections, and stronger classrooms, this is where it starts. Tip number 1. Start with your why, not just your rules. Before procedures, include your program philosophy. Why do you do things the way that you do? What do you believe about children, families, and teaching? For instance, in your infant room, you might include your belief on responsive caregiving and attachment. For toddlers, your approach might look more focused on autonomy and emotional regulation. And for preschool, your focus on school readiness and social and emotional growth. When staff understand the why, compliance turns into commitment. Now, tip number 2, create separate manuals for infants, toddlers, and preschools. One-size-fits-all manuals do not work in early childhood education. Each age group has unique needs, unique risks, and expectations. Infant manuals should cover safe sleep, bottle handling, diapering procedures and protocols, and caregiver consistency. Toddler manuals should address biting, scaling walls, transitions, toileting, and language development. And preschool manuals should include curriculum implementation, classroom management, and school readiness goals. Separate manuals show professionalism and clarity, and it prevents overwhelm. Now, tip number 3, use plain language, not licensing jargon. I know you want to make yourself sound smart, but at the end of the day, if they don't understand what they're reading, you're not going to get what you need in the classroom. So your manual should be easy to understand, not intimidating. Avoid overly technical language unless it is required for compliance. New hires are already nervous. They need clear, simple language, which will build confidence and reduce mistakes, especially in high-risk areas like in infant class and health procedures. Remember, clarity is kindness. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Tip number 4, include what this looks like in real life. Examples. Policies alone are not enough. Add real life scenarios. For example, what responsive feeding looks like in an infant room. How to handle a toddler meltdown, step by step. And honestly, that should be on page 1. How to redirect preschool behavior without shaming a child. Examples help your staff visualize expectations and apply them immediately. And tip number 5, build manuals for all learning styles. They need to see it, hear it, and do it. Adults learn differently, and onboarding should reflect that. Photos so they can see it, diagrams, classroom layouts, and visual schedules. Hear it could be short training videos. Gosh, they don't need to be fancy. I've got 1,000 not fancy videos on YouTube. Direct a walkthroughs the building, voice notes, and also doing it by shadowing, practice checklists, and hands-on demonstrations. Manuals should guide staff to be able to have multiple learning methods all at the same time, not just reading. And tip number 6, add checklists for each classroom role. Checklists reduce anxiety and improve consistency. Daily opening and closing procedures, infant care routines, toddler transition expectations, or preschool learning block responsibilities. Checklists give new teachers confidence and help mentors know what to support. And tip number 7, clearly define safety and supervision expectations. Never assume people just know, especially if they've worked in another center before. How many people have you hired that you had to untrain bad habits that they learned at their last center? Please spell it out. Active supervision expectations, like what does that look like? Like not 2 teachers standing in the playground chatting about last night's baseball game, right? Active supervision, what does it look like? Moving around, talking, listening to what kids are listening, what kids are saying, interacting with them. Where's the ratios? What are the positions? How do we monitor in the playground? I say this to teachers all the time. I'm like, you have to pay attention on the playground, which is where I feel like teachers feel less supervision is needed. But we all know, like, the major accidents don't normally happen during circle time. It's on the playground. But for some reason, in my experience, teachers seem to think as though playground time is like a break. Of course, the weather's beautiful. It's sunny. It's nice to get outside. It's a release for the teachers too. But at the same time, they have to remember most major accidents happen on the playground. So, I went off on my little rant there, but infant room supervision zones, what does that look like? This protects children, staff, and your program. And tip number 8, include family communication standards. Your manual should explain how staff interact with families. So you want to cover how we greet and dismiss, what information could be shared and not shared, and how to handle concerns professionally. Especially your app as well. I find like that is an area that has to be very clear. And consistency here builds trust and retention, not only with your staff, but with your families. And tip number 9, as we start to wind down, connect training with your curriculum. Manuals should explain how curriculum is implemented, not just what it is. So for infants, you might be talking about observations and interaction. For toddlers, you might be talking about play-based learning and language. For preschool, you might be talking about intentional lesson planning and assessment. You want to ensure quality doesn't vary from classroom to classroom. And that's the worst, when you have a rock star teacher in one room and then parents get accustomed to that and then they move to the next room and maybe that teacher isn't as good in certain areas. So when you have these manuals with clear expectations, it's more consistent for your family's experience and the children's experience. And tip number 10, treat your manuals as living documents. Your manuals are not a set it and forget it. Annually, take a look and review them. Update your manuals also after any licensing changes and add notes when challenges arise. And invite feedback from lead teachers as well. Strong leaders involve their staff and they involve their systems and their manuals should also evolve as well. So I hope that that was helpful today. If you are heading into your new year thinking you want your team to feel more confident, supported, and successful, well, this is where it starts. Inside our private Childcare Directors Chair leadership group, where we talk through systems like onboarding, training, leadership, retention, and real-time focused on leadership with directors who understand the realities of this work. So if you're ready to stop reinventing the wheel and start leading with clarity, we would love for you to come inside. The link is in the show notes, so come pull up a chair with us. And thank you again to our listener in Colby, Kansas, for your great idea. Hope that the rest of you who are listening, send in your idea for a show. We'd love to hear from you. And I can't wait to rock the new year. I don't know about you. So until then, have a great day as always.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Child Care Director's Chair, where we believe leaders aren't born, they're grown. If something sparked for you today, share it, shout it out, or pass it along to the next bold changemaker in childcare. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected with Erica Sacosio for more real talk leadership tools and a whole lot of inspiration. Until next time, lead with heart, grow with fire, and always remember, the chair is yours. Now own it.